the original season 2, episode 17, Exquisite Corpse. Now we've been gone, for about a month. This show's been off, which is crazy for kind of the time frame, especially considering at the end of this episode they mentioned we only have 4 episodes left. So it was crazy that really within the month that the show's really been missing, we'd only have like I guess 2 more episodes left technically. But it was definitely a great episode to come back on. We got to see the Eva Sinclaire storyline kind of wrap itself up, which was definitely fun to watch. I was really excited to see it just because I wanted to know how things are going to play out and maybe what explanations they might give as to how Eva was able to take control of her body. And they didn't really get too much into that, so I have to assume it is just the fact that she was a powerful witch, and because her powers were being completely suppressed when she was kind of in that witch sort of boarding house, that's why she didn't, have like any power. So once she got out and her abilities weren't being suppressed anymore, as well as kind of them being charged up a little bit with Rebekah practicing magic, at least in like one little case she tried to. I think, that's pretty much all it took, was that her abilities kind of came back. All the siphoning that she was doing from all these kids was probably blocked out within the house, and all this extra stuff that didn't get an explanation. But it was certainly fun to watch, and it led to some really great moments, like them having to really save Rebekah and find some way to get rid of Eva Sinclaire. Led to really a huge moment, which was Klaus taking Freya to see their mother, which I thought was great, especially considering what happened at the end of the episode, which I wasn't expecting either. But it was really fun to watch, like everyone kind of having these, different situations where it's like, we have to stop Eva Sinclaire, we have to find some way to calm the witches down, because obviously with Eva Sinclaire taking over Rebekah, she's kind of, back at it, so they have to find some way to stop her, because they don't want to lose any more young children. And then obviously that leaves the originals to figure out how the heck do we do both of these things by calming the witches down, as well as stopping Eva Sinclaire, which, in turn would allow us to save our sister. And it was just fun. It was definitely an enjoyable episode. I really love getting to see Vincent and his character in this episode, where he really, he's Vincent. He's no longer Finn trying to take out everybody. He's Vincent, and he was in the last episode, and in this one, he kind of has free reign to really choose what he wants to do, and he decides to, once again, help take down Eva, which he did even when he found out before, which was cool that we got that backstory as well, how she was caught. And of course, he was the one that caught her before, and he went through with it. And in this episode, he kind of played around with everybody, made them think that he was going to work with her, which I thought he did. I mean, I admittedly, we don't really know his character that much, so him making this decision, I can't be like, well, obviously he's doing that to play a trick, because we don't really know his character. Even after the story, there's so many things that could change. I mean, the fact that he'd kind of be taking out his, the love of his life, a former love of his life, to save, one of the originals, who obviously he doesn't exactly have the best relationship with through, body control and stuff like that. He could easily, harbor revenge for that and stuff like that. We don't really know what he remembers or doesn't remember. I would assume nothing, because when he woke up as himself, he didn't remember anything. So, you can't really say, like, you knew that was going to happen, because it was just, we don't really know Vincent. He did seem like a good guy, so it was nice that he actually did decide to kind of play a trick and take her down. Fortunately, he didn't get killed off. I thought he was going to get killed off when they were kind of in Eva's mind. When she was doing whatever spell, it seemed like she was just going to break his neck at first. I was like, I don't know what's about to happen. And I was pretty sure, like, he always seems to have these moments where it's like, crap, he's just about to die right now. And of course, he made it out of that one as well, so that's good, because I do like his character. Now that he's Vincent, he's kind of one of the good guys, and he's, even in this episode, he works with the originals and stuff, so it was cool to see him actually survive. Marcel had, like, 2 really dumb moments in this episode. One of them was in Eva's mind when he told Rebekah to run, and then he charges right at her as if he completely forgot, like, less than a minute before. It was like, hey, if she kills you in her mind, you will be gone. You will be lost forever. Your body will be useless. Your mind is just going to be nothing. And he's like, he tells Rebekah to run instead of, like, picking her up when she's in, like, little girl mode and just taking off. Like, just run in circles or something. He runs right at her. Of course, he gets taken down. eyes getting gouged out and stuff like that. And it was like, what is he doing? Like, he just wasn't thinking in this episode. And a scene before that, which is kind of like, you could kind of chop it up to just TV phone conversations when no one ever actually asks anything that they should ask. Like, when he got the call from Vincent, he's like, I found the place and stuff. And he was like, but we got a problem with the kids being linked to her. You're going to need someone who knows, like, a really huge spell. And then after that, Marcel just hangs up the phone and is like, where are you? That's a huge question you could ask. Like, you don't know what's going to happen with Eva. I honestly thought, I figured she was going to wake up in the middle of them talking when they were on the phone. I really thought that was about to happen just because she's that powerful. Like, I don't really know how powerful she is. She's siphoning power from, these young witches and warlocks, and they're all prodigies. Who knows when she can get up, like, whether it's magic or whatever. And he's just like, we need someone, and Marcel just hangs up the phone. It's like, where are you? Like, what the heck is happening? I don't know where you are. I'm just hanging up the phone. And like I said, that happens in, like, all TV. Like, people always do that. They don't say bye. Everyone just hangs up. No one ever asks, like, where are you? I found the place. Where is it? And that's it. If they aren't actually going there in the next scene, it's just like, all right, thanks. And they hang up the phone. So I thought that was just really funny and sort of stupid, just TV stuff. And Marcel had that, as well as him charging at her inside of her mind. That was like just flat out a dumb moment for his character, like running at her like that. Because even in the real world, witches can take down vampires unless they don't see them coming, which we actually saw twice in this episode. Unless they don't see it coming, a witch can take out any vampire running at them at full speed. It's just like, do this, and then, insane headaches, and they drop down. So there's just a really dumb moment for his character, but it was kind of funny. It's just like, what is he doing? Like, he's just not thinking. So I thought that was kind of funny. Getting to see the witches sort of bond with Freya at the very end of this episode was actually really cool too, because obviously one of the huge things was, it's a huge thing with literally any new character that comes in. Klaus is like, I don't know you, I don't trust you. So they really, really touched on it in this episode, where he had to take that final step to really help save his sister, and he had to fortunately/unfortunately trust Freya, who we find out in this episode, and it's very, very interesting when she explained it to her mother. She has no ill will towards her brother, but she's at this point where, honestly, she doesn't give a crap about him, and he's kind of, it's almost like she's mad that he's mad, and that's why she's going to turn everyone against him. And it's funny that that's how it works, because it's like his extreme paranoia has just pushed her over there. She has like a year to live every 100 years, and she's like, I just don't have time for this crap. I have to really move things along. And it's kind of funny how mentally, like, him being that character kind of pushed her to be a different character as well. Because she reveals the fact to her mother that she has no ill will. She did learn things about him that she's going to use against him, but really that's only because she realized he's not going to ever trust her no matter what. And I just find that very interesting. Like, that's what's going to lead her to be this sort of, like, pseudo-villain for him in, like, the next season. So I don't know how that stuff is going to play out, especially considering in the next episode we're actually getting Dahlia, which I'm incredibly excited for. But it was just crazy. Like, it was like a crazy reveal. Like, she's actually a good guy. Klaus is completely wrong, but he's not wrong because him being wrong pushed her to the point where he's actually technically right. So it's just a weird sort of like spiral of issues with them. And then of course, Freya killing off their mother. And I initially, when she did the spell and she kind of exploded, I thought she turned into a bunch of bats. But then obviously they did the zoom in and it was birds. And I didn't realize they were dying either. Like, I thought she kind of just like burst into them. Some were just instantly landed on the ground and some were just flying around. And I guess that's exactly what happened. They just weren't bats, they were birds. But that was crazy. Like, she hits her with this spell and then boom, she just like explodes into birds. And she's gone now, and like they had that confrontation, and it was pretty cool. Like, I really loved that scene where we got to see Freya talk to her mother and kind of deal with the same issues that Klaus has dealt with. And it was kind of funny because that was another great thing between their characters, where they are very, very similar. And Freya even mentions that herself, like, I've been alone. Like, I've been alone for thousands of years because, I was given up by our mother. And I know you've dealt with the same stuff, but it does not have to be that way. And it's just, it's really interesting that they just can't, come to terms. Like, they are the most alike out of anyone as far as just bum deals that, out of their family. Like, Freya was given up, and then she dealt with a crappy mother figure. Obviously, Klaus, once it was revealed that he was half werewolf, dealt with a really crappy father who is still coming after him. Freya still has their aunt coming after her, so it's like they have so much to bond over, and it's like paranoia and then just lack of patience, and now they're just gonna end up being enemies or something within the next season. So I'm excited to see how all that stuff plays out, especially, like I said, with Dahlia coming in. But this was a really good episode. It was a nice episode for them to sort of come back on. We got to see a little bit between, Haley and Elijah and how things are working with the, it's not exactly a love triangle, which I think is good. They just kind of accept things as they are, which I thought was really nice for the characters. It just shows it's just not like, oh, God, love and drama and all that extra crap. It's just, that's how it is. Like, Elijah needs to kind of live for himself for once. And Haley didn't say anything about it. She just kind of, like, nodded her head and accepted that. And I thought it was just a cool moment. It still sucks. I do kind of want them to be together just because that's kind of how it started, I guess. I don't know. But it was cool. It was a nice little moment. Of course, we had the scene in the beginning where everyone had to, like, save the baby from Eva when she was trying to take her. And it was just fun. And, like, Freya, that was one of my favorite moments, too, when Freya was watching Elijah and Klaus argue about who would be the anchor, and then she just breaks out of the chains herself, and it's like, obviously I could have done this anytime. And I really thought that was going to be the thing where it was like Klaus would realize, even though she snapped his neck, Klaus would realize, like, okay, she had the chance to do this the entire time. She could have, broken out of these chains, snapped my neck, killed our mother, like, in front of us before anything even happened, like, because, I could have acted like I didn't give a crap about Rebekah being saved or any of that stuff. And I thought that would be, like, the defining moment for Klaus, where he'd realize she cares. Like, she took the time to listen to really his crap about hating her, and she took the time to have the patience not to just completely obliterate her mother in the first scene, which I really thought was going to happen. I thought she was just going to lose it and choke her with the chains. I was fairly certain that was going to happen, because her mom was just, like, being really mean to her. Admittedly, she was being kind of crappy to her. Like, this is the girl you gave up because you kind of had a different mental state, and now it's like, she's probably totally evil because my sister was a bitch. And it's just like, that was like the whole scene was her kind of bad-mouthing her daughter. And she kind of had a lot of restraint when she clearly had the power to break out of that. But it was definitely a fun episode. I think this was definitely a great one to come back on. And I can't wait to see what happens with Dahlia coming in the next episode. It was a great way to sort of preview the next couple of episodes, where they say it's like only 4 left in the season, but none left for Dahlia. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. We obviously, with the end of the episode and Freya being accepted by the witches, they're going to help fight against Dahlia, which I can't wait to see, mostly because we haven't had the witches really involved in the series too much, at least not not to this grand scale, where it's like the witches are like this really big presence now, and they aren't just enemies either. They're actually working with the family and stuff. So I'm really excited to see how that kind of transfers into the next season, because they've of course been like the main enemies. We have like Davina, and even in season 1, yeah, they had like the Harvest Girls and stuff, and we got to learn about witches and the werewolves and the vampires. But really, we haven't had like a huge presence from the witches, where it's like, here's like a giant mass of witches gathering to really help or hurt the originals, depending on what's happening, mostly with Eva Sinclaire. But I'm excited to see how all that stuff plays out, and also how they treat Dahlia as sort of a living ancestor when you think about it, because they treated Esther with a lot of respect when she was alive, and not being who she was currently, or in the past, I guess. But things are different with Dahlia, so I don't know how they're going to treat her, what they would feel as far as what coven she would belong to or anything like that. She could just be a nomad. It seems like anybody from any clan, whether it's like vampire, werewolf, or witch, is like, I just want to be me, and then they can do that thing. So we'll have to wait and see. But I love this episode. Obviously, I can't say how excited I am to finally see Dahlia, and it kind of shows that with there only being 4 episodes, we really won't get Dahlia um, to be like the full villain until next season, which I figured we wouldn't, because that was kind of the big thing where they would talk about her. And I'm really glad we don't have to wait until the season finale though, so I can't wait to see what they do establish for her character and how they end the season. If the big surprise isn't here's Dahlia now at the very end of the season, she's got like 4 full episodes now, so what are they going to give to her character, what backstory and things like that. And then, with her being the big reveal in the next episode, what's going to be, like the big thing for the season finale? Like, is there going to be another enemy? Is someone going to come back to life? Technically, we don't really know where Michael is, so, I don't know what's going to happen there. He might just end up coming back, and he could team up with Dahlia. Who knows what could happen there? He might not, because of the Freya stuff, because he actually gives a crap about her. But at the same time, it seems like if anyone tries to kill Klaus, he's probably like completely on board, like, yeah, I'll do that. So we'll have to wait and see. But I want to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below, let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and what do you guys think of the, I guess, resolution of Eva Sinclaire and Rebekah kind of staying in Eva Sinclaire's body, since they established the children are still connected to the body, and Rebekah doesn't want to leave because she would most likely end up damning those kids, because if the body was killed, then, or destroyed, the kids would be killed too. So there's a smart way to write that in, and obviously she did mention that she wants to help save Cole, and I'm really excited to see her actually practice magic, just because she's one of the originals. So her seeing someone actually learn magic, kind of from the ground up, I think will be a cool step in season 3. But I want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.